Ashes 2023 is over, but its end has given a big shock to both England and Australia. Do you know why? Well, let me tell you that England and Australia have been dogged 19 and 10 WTC points respectively for slow over rates in the recently concluded 5-test match Ashes series that ended in 2-2. We'll talk about all the details here in this video, but let's talk about how the points are calculated in the WTC cycle. This is the new WTC cycle and WTC final will happen in 2025. Ashes was quite important. It ended in 2-2, but let's have a quick look at the points first. First up, we have England. Now, England won 2 matches, the third test and the last test. With the 2 wins, they got 24 points. The fourth test match was drawn and they got 4 points. Now, for the slow over rates, they got 19 points, which means that the 19 points were deducted from this and they got the net point of 9. They got 9 net points from this Ashes. And if we talk about the percentage points, then England has 15 percentage points, which is very, very low in the whole WTC cycle. And now England are on number 5 position in the WTC points table. And this is something very concerning for the England team. They will need more 151 points to qualify for the WTC final. Now this time, when Australia and India were in WTC final, India and Australia needed at least 60% of the points. Now when England have 15% points, which means that they will need to win at least 11 matches out of the 16 matches to get those 151 points. Now let's also talk about the Australia team. Talking about Australia, they won 2 matches and the 1 match was drawn. So out of the 2 matches, they got 24 points. In the 1 match, they got 4 points, and for slow over rate, they got 10 points. And those 10 points were reduced from their total. So they ended up with 18 points. And if we calculate it in percentage, they have 30 percentage points. And because of that, Australia are on number 3 position in the WTC points table. Talking about Australia, they are below Pakistan and India. Pakistan are in the top of the points table with 100% points, whereas if we talk about India, they are on 2nd position and then Australia on 3rd. 4th up is West Indies and 5th is England. Now we talked here about the WTC points. So one thing is understood here that the slow over rate points were deducted and now England and Australia were left with few points after the whole Ashes got over. Now here let's understand how these points are calculated. Now the latest over rate sanctions were done in the ICC's annual conference that took place in Durban on July 13th, where it was decided that 5% of the match fees will be fined and also 1 WTC point will be deducted for every 1 over that the teams will be short of. Which means that if you haven't completed 1 over in the scheduled time, then 1 WTC point will be deducted and also 5% of the match fee will be deducted. So that's clear, right? Now let's understand how these points were calculated in Ashes 2023. Let's have a quick look at England's slow over rate points. In the first test, the 2 points were reduced from England's side. Then in second test, 9 points. Third test, there were no points deducted because England completed their overs in the scheduled time. In the fourth test, 3 points. Fifth test, 5 points. Talking about Australia, 10 points were deducted from Australia's total points in the fourth test, and that costed a lot to both the teams. Now this is something very, very huge. Why? Because now Australia would need 137 points from the remaining 14 test matches in this whole WTC cycle, which means that they really will need to win at least 10 matches in this WTC cycle. And as I already mentioned, England would need to win at least 11 matches in the WTC cycle out of the 16 matches because they need 151 points. This is something very, very concerning for both the teams. Both the teams are very strong sides in Test cricket, but here it seems that it will be a very difficult road to travel for both the teams because England and Australia would need to work hard to win the test matches in this WTC cycle. And I'm again telling you that slow over rate points are very, very important in this whole WTC cycle because these are the new sanctions that ICC did. And Australia captain Pat Cummins also said that now all the teams would really need to make different strategies. They would need to make different plans because this slow over rate points will actually cost them their chance in the WTC final. That's that in this video, but for all other interesting videos, you stay connected to CricketNext.